because in an interview with NBC's Christian Welker, yesterday, you know who said he's not ruling out the possibility of running for a third term, saying, I'm not joking, there are methods which you could do it with. How? And reporters asked him more about it later on Air Force One. Take a look.
You said you were not joking about a third term, about possibly wanting a third term. Does that mean you're not planning to leave office on January 20th?
I'm not looking at that, but I'll tell you, I have had more people ask me to have a third term, which is, in a way, a fourth term, because the other election, the 2020 election was totally rigged.
The Constitution limits a president to 2 terms. Is it your understanding that they have to
I
be...
don't even want to talk about it. I'm just telling you, I have had more people say, please run again. I said, we have a long way to go before we even think about that.
Is he actually planning on this, or is this just another way to take the headlines away from all the other messes his administration is actually dealing with right now?
Well, you know, I actually think that he is so enamored of Putin and so enamored with power that he wouldn't mind being king, you know, with the crooked crown. I don't know that it's something that can ever be accomplished, because we know that FDR historically had 4 terms. And so they ratified the 22nd Amendment in 1951, making sure that a president could only run 2 terms, consecutively or non-consecutively. So in order to really legally do this, he would probably have to change the 22nd Amendment, and that would, you would need like 34 states, 3/4 states to ratify that. So I don't think it's ever going to happen.
Right.
That doesn't mean he's not going to try.
Yeah.
Well, look, you know, no matter how insane, stupid, harebrained, and lawless I think something he says might be, I have learned the lesson of taking him seriously.
Yes.
But what was interesting is this was a hot topic for all of us, and none of us picked it this morning because we're all on to him. He is the distractor in chief. And so he doesn't want us to keep talking about Signalgate, which is a real threat to national security. And every day more details are revealed that show us how incompetent and reckless his national security team is. He doesn't want us to talk about the way he is tanking the stock market with his imbecilic tariffs. What he's calling Liberation Day should be called Hypertension Day, because it's going to give us all a heart attack. He doesn't want us to talk about Andriy, the 30-year-old gay hairdresser, Venezuelan, who without any due process, just because he had a tattoo that said mom with a crown and dad with a crown, was grabbed and disappeared to the hellhole in El Salvador. He doesn't want us to be talking about any of those things.
Yeah.
And he wants us to be talking about this.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't think he likes that behind closed doors, supposedly, J.D. Vance and some others called for Waltz to be removed due to this action. They also have some new reporting coming out in the Wall Street Journal today that there were more conversations that were potentially confidential happening on this Signal app. So I do think the distraction is big, but I would also just warn that the more important thing before any attempt at rewriting our Constitution would be the local elections that happen before then. And so it's easy to kind of be distracted by what he throws out there, but there are some really pivotal elections happening. And
what do you mean?
One of the reasons they pulled Elise Stefanik's name out is there was going to be a delay in her seat, and they didn't want to lose the House. So there's stuff happening on the ground, and Republicans have proven to be ahead of that. They're more of chess players. So I would make sure that Democrats don't get distracted by the crazy, and they keep their eyes on the ground, the local elections that really change things.
I will say, shout out to Louisiana. Shout out to Louisiana, because Louisiana had a special election this weekend, and all 4 of these proposed amendments died there. And so Louisiana came out, the Black community really came out, 37% early voting. Shout out to Cliff Albright for organizing on the ground there. So I think Sarah's right. The local elections are really where it's at right now.
Well, I think everybody's aware. God knows they've been given enough information of what to do, but you haven't said anything.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, the 22nd Amendment is no joke. And even if you somehow were to bypass the constitutional process and try to run again, there's just no evidence I see that Donald Trump is going to leave in 4 years at 82, so popular that the public's like, never mind, let's keep him another 4 years.
Yeah.
That's just not what we do in America. We tend to be change elections in a change electorate. But I do think that he's got this way of dangling things like this out there like catnip so that certain corners of the media bite on it and they cover it. And I saw this leading a lot of networks today.
Yeah.
Instead of the fact that in 48 hours, tariffs are going to go into effect that are going to cost all of us a lot of money. I've got a graphic I want to pull up. This is Fox News. 69% of Americans believe that tariffs are going to make the cost of goods more expensive.
And
a plurality of
they're
economists, left, right, and center, agree. It is really a small fringe minority that says this is going to bring down consumer costs.
Yeah.
And that's what he was elected on. He was not elected to take Greenland. He was not elected to take Canada and make it the 51st state. It was to bring down the cost of living because everything's too expensive for Americans. So if he keeps going the way he is, I don't think we even have to worry about this because I don't think people are going to be interested in a further time. But I think if I'm J.D. Vance, who thinks, oh, I'm the heir apparent, I'm going to be the next Republican presidential candidate, I'd be like, oh, this is a little insulting. Like, he's just, oh, he is not teeing it up for me. He's giving me the worst job to do.
You guys remember when Republicans used to say that at 82, Joe Biden was too old to run?
Yeah.
I mean, because, you know, when we look at Donald Trump, we all think picture of great health. He really is going to be doing great at 82. He's actually going to be older than Joe Biden. He's going to be the oldest president at 82 and 7 months when he leaves office than anybody else. And I don't understand how anybody graduated from Wharton Business School and thinks that tariffs are paid by the foreign country. No, you idiot. They are paid by consumers, by Americans buying things.
You know, again, I've been saying this for a while. I'm going to say it again. Do not wait for the politicians to get themselves together. It is up to us. Get out there and vote. You don't like what's happening? Then stop what's happening. Stop it. Get out there and stop it. You know? Everybody says, oh, I feel so helpless. Well, you're not helpless. Yeah. You're not helpless. There's a woman I read about this morning whose school decided they were no longer going to teach Black history. She decided that wasn't a good idea, so she is teaching Black history on Saturdays at the library.
Oh.
You can. There are things, you know, women's history, just history in general, because there's nothing worse than a country that won't admit its mistakes, that doesn't fight to change their bad habits. We have an opportunity, and we have the reputation of at least trying to change things for the best. And now we have been slipping backwards. Well, if you want that to stop, it's up to us. It's up to me. It's up to you. Yeah. Just like this lady did, she said, this is what I can do. Figure out what you can do and how you can help and go from there.